Hi everyone, welcome to Group 1. The topic of our presentation today is how to manage fear among young men. And this is our group member, 丁少峰、李方毅、陈绿林 and me, 罗俊毅. So our presentation will be divided into 6 parts, which are introduction, past studies, objective and method, results, discussion, and reference. Next, I'm going to start with the first part. What is fear? Fear is one of the most powerful emotions. It has very strong effect on our mind and body. Fear also is the instinctive action of defense or flight in order to survive in the face of danger. Also, fear is a natural response to perceived or real threats. On another hand, fear can produce strong response signal in our body. When we encounter an emergency situation, for example, when we face tsunamis, earthquakes, and fires, or when we face situations that are prone to fear due to tension, such as exam, public speaking, interviews for new jobs, it will also work. It is a natural response to perceived or real threats. Next, my friend is going to introduce a past study on fear.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about the second part, past studies, literature review. In 1986, 3 psychologists from the University of Kansas worked together to put forward a famous theory named fear management theory. The basic point of this theory is that everyone has fear of death. People created a cultural worldview which can make people feel symbolically beyond death. And the theoretical basis is fear management theory believes that self-esteem is a kind of evaluation and feelings of personal value. That is, people's experience of their own life meanings and things already. The role of self-esteem is to protect people from the anxiety caused by the inherent fear of death. There are 2 ways to gain self-esteem. The first is believe in the correctness of the cultural worldview you hold. The second is believe that the value status that you observed are part of the cultural worldview. In terms of the length of time, fears can be divided into 2 categories. They can last for a short time and then pass, but they can also last longer. When you fall into a long-term fear, you may be trapped by them. In some cases, they can even affect your life. Your appetite begins to fade, insomnia, lack of concentration, and mental loss. This will hinder you from doing what you want to do or need to do, and it may also greatly affect your health. Want to avoid situations that might make them feel scared or anxious. It may be difficult to break this circle, but there are many ways to do it. Due to time constraints, I will only introduce 3 methods here. More methods are in our report. The first one is understand fear and investigate it. Fear exists to keep us safe. It is not inherently bad or good, but a tool we can use to make better decisions. And the second way is don't just do something, stand there. When fear strikes, consider whether the correct action might be to analyze the options and make a wise. We'll sort out choice rather than jumping to what is right in the heat of the moment. The third method is name of the fear. Sometimes merely stating what you fear is give you strength to deal with it. Say your fears out loud and write it down or focus your mind on. When you try to ignore your fear, it grows. When you face it, it shrinks. Okay, that's my part of the presentation. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Chen Lulin. Today I will talk about objective and method, the part of interview and discuss. There are our interview questions. Firstly, what fear emotion means to you? When do you feel fear? What makes you fear? Second, how do you express your fear emotion? How sensitive are you to that emotion? Third, how do you manage or control your fear emotion? What specific way or ways you use to regulate your fear emotion? There are our interviewee, Mr. Wang and Mr. Jiang. let's take a look at the result of the interview.
So now I want to ask you, when do you feel fear, and what fear emotion means to you?
I feel fear when I walk alone on the empty street in a strange city. I think it's because I'm worried about encountering the bad guys in the street who would be rob me. Because I've heard so many stories about those unreasonable bad guys. I think fear is a physiological state when facing in danger, especially when and how this danger will happen is beyond my control. That's how I feel my fear.
Hello, it's Chen. I have some question I want to interview you. Our topic is how to manage fear among young men. So, can we start?
Yep.
Okay, the first question is, what does fear mean to you? When did you feel fear? What scares you?
I think fear is for me encountering something that scares me. For example, when I go out at night, the darkness makes me feel scared. And encountering bugs can also make me feel scared.
Okay, the second question is how to express your fears. How sensitive are you to this emotion?
When I feel scared, I usually yell to express it. Fear is a feeling of release when yelling, and I'm more sensitive to fear, and I often get very scared.
Okay, the last question is how to manage or control your fears. What specific methods do you use to regulate your fears?
When I feel scared, I usually choose to do the other things to divert my attention. For example, find a good game or find someone to support and to relax myself.
Okay, thank you.
Let's have a discussion what we get from the interview. People often have fear due to external environmental factors. Most people are sensitive to fear. Everyone has their own emotional patterns. We found that although everyone has different ways to control their emotions in the face of fear, according to the interview results, most people usually choose to call others, to seek outside help when facing fear, and choose to do other things to relax when facing fear. This is 3 types of fear. Let's see the first one, depending on fear-causing stimulus. The real fear is the fear of being threatened in life, like being robbed. Unreal or irrational fear. This kind of fear is usually related to your own experience, such as something that leaves a shadow on you. The second one, depending on its adaptability. Normal fear. Things that most people are afraid of, like standing on the edge of a cliff. Pathological fear. This is a mental illness. The patient is afraid of everything. The third one, depending on the extent of physical fear. This is the body's fear response to extreme fear, such as shaking. Social fear, for example, fear of communicating with strangers. Let me introduce some simple ways to self-regulate fear emotion to you. The first one, implied adjustment method. The basic approach is to send positive signals to yourself to adjust your mentality and change your emotions. The second one, attention control method. When you fall into fear, adjust your attention to something easy and pleasant. Music mitigation. Music has a strong emotional contagion, so it's also one of the effective ways to relieve fear. These are some references about the cause of fear, the ways to overcome fear, and to accept fear. If you are interested in learning how to control your fear, you can go to these websites. Okay, that's all of our presentation. Thank you. Bye-bye.